50 months, ladies and gentlemen. 50 months. That's what Sean, the P. Diddler Combs, received after this long ass trial. He's been in jail for 13 months now. So that by itself is going to be counted as time served, which I don't really understand for certain people. Just give them the sentence and let the time that they stayed in there be the time. But of course, they're going to add that. So 50 months is somewhere around 5 years. Realistically, with the 13 months, he's going to serve like 4 years and something amount of months. And on top of that, I even heard that he would be allowed to get parole. So let's even cut that down even further back. Man, listen, shit. The Diddler, you know, from stomping Cassie Ventura down the hallways with the bomb of his fucking feet to transporting prostitutes all across the country, sometimes outside of the country, giving them drugs, pumping them up with all types of shit, giving them IVs to come back to life so they could fuck again. You know what I mean? From allegedly blowing up rapper Kid Cudi's car, man, listen, this guy is like a mob boss doing terroristic activities. And they gave him 50 months. Man, shout out the legal system, gang, because listen, the legal system really, it's paid to win, bro. You know how they called like the man, let me pour up a drink real quick. You know how they call the fucking some of these video games, they're like, "Oh, it's pay to win because if you spend this much money on the battle pass and you get this gun, you'll be able to win easier. It's pay to win." The court system is the exact same thing. The court system is the exact same thing. If I go into court for the charges that Sean Diddy Combs had, I would be in jail for the rest of my family's lineage. I would get like 8 life sentences, bro. You know what I'm saying? I would be fucked. What you got? You got $20,000 to give us? Like, I'm fucked. Now we got Sean Diddy Combs with a net worth that used to be around $1 billion. $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? And he gets 50 months? Oh no, that's pay to win. That's not justice. That's just having a battle pass to life. Anyways, I want to read this article. I don't want to play the news. I don't want to play the news segment because I heard that news channels are like harassing YouTube channels and shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and read a news segment about what exactly happened in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. It's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and check this out. Cheers and happy Saturday to everybody. So there's a bunch of news outlets saying the exact same thing. So I just went eeny, meeny, miny, mo, landed on Fox because they were the most trending about the whole Diddy trial. I think they got in here first. And this is what they had to say about the whole situation, all right? Sean Diddy Combs was sentenced to 4 years in prison on federal prostitution charges. In addition to the 50-month sentence, Diddy will have 5 years of supervised release and pay a $500,000 fine, which is literally $500 for Diddy. Fuck that. Here's your little 500. Suck my dick. Anyways, Judge Arun Subramanian noted Diddy's difficult upbringing and acknowledged his family devotion before considering, quote unquote, all of your history with respect to the freak offs and the hotel nights as he handed down the sentence. And I'm assuming the judge quoted here, court rejects that these were just intimate consensual experiences of sex, drugs, and rock and roll story, Subramanian said. You abused power and control over women you held relationships with. Subramanian added, why did it happen so long? Because you had power and resources. You were no John, you were more than that. Even if your currency was your own desire. On deterrence requires a significant sentence. And I don't know if Judge Subramanian thought that 50 months was a significant sentence. Bro, we know he abused his power. That's obvious. What else did he say? You abused your power, you had a rough upbringing, but that's not good, so we have to give you a substantial sentence. Bro, we know he abused his power, and rough upbringing, you could wipe my ass with that, bro. You could wipe my ass with that. This man is 50 something. At this point, he's been rich for longer than he's been poor. Let's just keep it 100. So this whole thing about a rough upbringing, you could almost wipe my ass with that. And plus, Diddy and his mom are weird. There's an odd sexual tension between Diddy and his mom, so I don't even want to hear about his family because this everything about bro is fucking off. I mean, he's been terrorizing people for decades. And the judge gave him 50 months saying that this requires a strong punishment. Here's 50 months. Man, miss me with that shit. What the fuck? Pay to win. It's pay to win. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it's pay to win. There are so many people who would be implicated in this case that mysteriously never got exposed. It would be in everybody's best interest for this little fucker to get out of jail and just continue to just to live life. Man, there's so many people. We didn't forget about J-Lo. We didn't forget about Leonardo. We didn't forget about all these people who are at these parties. Listen, at the end of the day, there's a lot more money going into this trial than you realize. There's a lot of people who don't want to be, who cannot be exposed. Let's continue. So now we continue, right? The judge passes on this sentence, everything. Apparently, Diddy was emotional. He was, at one point, his face was in the fucking chair. Then he's burying his face in his hands at one point. Like, he's super emotional. And I wish that we were able to have video footage, but you could, I mean, just look at the artwork. You can kind of get an idea as to how he was feeling about this sentence. But let's read what it said. When the judge imposed his sentence, Diddy had no reaction. He sat silently, looking forward, listening the entire time. His hands were folded in his lap. When the judge mentioned Cassie and Jane, Diddy looked down. At the end of sentencing, he quickly glanced between his attorney, Shapiro, and Steele. Diddy's family and supporters also did not react to the sentence. No one had visible facial expressions, and the courtroom was completely silent. Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, and Meredith Firetog, what type of names are these? Are these like imaginary fucking whimsical names or shit? Meredith Firetog and Douglas Wigdor. Anyways, both lawyers said in a statement provided to Fox News Digital, this entire criminal process started when our client Cassie Ventura had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. And at the end of the day, like, listen, we heard the testimonies about Cassie. We heard the type of things that she was saying to certain escorts. We there's a lot of shit about Cassie that makes me feel like she was along for the motherfucking ride. Let's just keep it 100%. Let's just keep it a bean, right? So I don't want to hear shit Cassie's lawyer has. All that shit with Cassie, I thought she was finna be the star witness, and obviously you don't beat women. You don't do all this crazy shit. But the way Cassie was talking and all the evidence that we saw during this trial, listen, man, listen. The price point was good enough for her at one point. But anyways, let's continue. I even heard stories from the escorts, right? You know, you see it on Vlad TV. You see them all over the place because they're doing their rounds now. They want to make some money. Obviously, all the male escorts, everything that worked with Diddy, this, that, and the other, they all kind of aligned with the same idea about the way Cassie was moving. Like she was a part of this shit. Now, again, you have to check. You have to take it with a grain of salt. They want a viral story. They want to make money off of Vlad TV. They want to do all this extra shit. But some of those stories, man, shit. Cassie, your husband probably throws up in the toilet every morning. Just imagining the shit that you were really down to do. Let's get our minds out of that though. Let's continue. So that was pretty much the whole gist of everything. 50 months, get him up out of here. But at the end of the day, he's really gonna have a good time in prison. They're probably gonna put him on some type of something that's chill. He's not gonna be in the same conditions now that he's been sentenced. We'll find out in the coming days where he actually goes. It might be out already, but Diddy is definitely going to be very comfortable for the next 4 years. Real super comfortable, bro. Super, super. The best commissary, the best fresh favorites, food. You know, he's never going to eat commissary, not commissary. He's never going to eat actual prison food a day in his life. Never. He's never going to do that. Ever. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be shipping him all types of good food. You know, he's probably going to be working out, getting fit. He's going to have a very soft and smooth time in here. So, before everything ends, I just want to read what he said to the court because apparently he addresses the court for the first time. So let's go ahead and see what he said. After a brief break, Diddy addressed the court for the first time to apologize and also thank the judge for giving him a chance to speak for himself. So he quotes, "One of the hardest things has been to be quiet, not being able to express how sorry I am for my actions," Diddy said. "I want to apologize once again to Cassie Ventura for any harm I caused emotionally or physically. I don't take that lightly." Diddy also apologized to Jane, who testified under a pseudonym during the trial. The rapper said, "I didn't mean to hurt you. Sorry that I brought you into this mess." Diddy also apologized to all victims of domestic violence. The producer admitted his actions were sick as he referenced substance abuse issues. "I was out of control. I needed help, but I didn't get help," he said. "I can make no excuse because I knew better. My mama taught me better. My faith taught me better." He continued, "Because of my decisions, I lost my freedom. I lost my opportunity to effectively raise my children and be there for my mother. I lost all my businesses. I lost my career. I totally lost my reputation. I lost my self respect. I've been humbled and broken to my core. I hate myself right now, stripped down to nothing. I really am truly sorry for all, no matter what they say. I want to apologize to my 7 children." And then he goes on and he weeps and he cries and he gets real emotional. Bullshit. Horseradish. You know what I'm saying? Booty crack bullshit is why I call him that shit. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to say what he needs to say. You know why? Because when parole comes around, because I heard parole is a possibility, all these actions will speak very highly of him. The second he gets out of jail, he's going to be right back on his shit. I promise you that. But you guys let me know what you think, man. Do you think that the sentence was warranted? Do you think 4 years is right there on the head? Perfect. Or do you think he needed to get more time for this bullshit? Y'all let me know. But until then, folks, stay inside, stay safe. I love you guys, man. I'll see you real soon. Peace.